Everybody wants to make 100K. I'm going to show you right now how to make 100K. What makes me a credible source to tell you how to make 100K in the insurance business? I was 19 years old in college playing basketball, made $117,000 in 8 months. And here's exactly how I did it. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps to follow. The first step is know your numbers. Break down the numbers. If your average sale is $750 per sale, then you're going to need to make about 130 sales. In that case, that's about 2.5 a week. So what we're going to do is, because some people cancel, some people change their minds, some people lapse, there's chargebacks, your goal is to make 3 sales every single week. Once you know the numbers of what you need to do to make 100 grand, then you know you're going to make 3 sales. I'm going to challenge you to sit and ask 10 people and run 10 appointments every single week. I don't care what you sell. If you sit with 10, a few of them may be garbage. Who cares? Say 3 or 4 of them are just horrible. And then you close half. Maybe you're not the greatest salesperson in the world. You'll write 3 pieces of business every single week. Know your numbers. See so many people per week. Know how many you need to see. Once you know your numbers and you sit with 10 and you consistently sit with 10, then the third step is you got to consistently do this week in and week out. It's not good enough to do it one day. It's not great enough to do it one week. It's not perfect enough to do it one month. You want to make 100K, we're going to go ahead and decide right now you will make 100K over the next 12 months. If you figure out your numbers, if you do whatever it freaking takes to sit in front of a specific number of people. I'm going to challenge that specific number of people to be 10. And then we're going to decide that you're going to be consistent week in and week out. It's not good enough to be lazy one week and amazing the next week. You want to make 100K, you want to be in the 8% of insurance agents that actually succeed. Then we're going to take this seriously. You're going to stick to the numbers. You're going to know what you need to do, and you're going to do it, and you're going to do it consistently. Hey, so many agents struggle not only with picking up the phone, but also at being great on the phone. But you got to remember, you're never going to be perfect at something that you don't start. What's that? What's the old saying? 10,000 hours to mastery. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to give you 3 tips today about how to be great on the phone. Tip number 1, agents are typically disagreeable. If you can remember one thing that I say from this entire video and everything I ever put out, it's that you have to be in a state of agreement. The customer's always right. You have to agree with everything they say. It's natural, human nature, to want to disagree with the prospect. So tip number 1 is all about being agreeable. Well, what do you mean, Cody? Well, if they say, hey, dude, I'm not interested. Perfect. I understand. Then continue and then ask. So tip number 1 is be agreeable. That'll get you a long way on the phone to getting them to stay on the phone, because if you get offended, if you get disagreeable, they're not going to talk to you. So tip number 1 is be and stay agreeable the entire time. When you get objections, be agreeable. All right, tip number 2 is all about assuming and asking. Tip number 2 is all about the fact that, hey, you need to assume that they want to talk to you. You need to assume that they are going to stay on the phone the entire time. You need to assume that they're going to answer your questions. You need to assume that they're going to talk more than you do, and you need to assume that they're going to do business with you every step of the way. That's one thing that I can let on is when I'm on the phone, that person knows the entire 20 minutes or 40 minutes or 1 hour that I'm on the phone with them, that I'm expecting them to do business today, and that every step of the way is a build-up to them doing business. And so naturally, they kind of expect it along the way, so that when I get to the ask, it's not as big of a deal, because that dude, he expressed that I was going to do business with him the whole time, all along. So not only are you assuming, but don't forget the ask. That's kind of a combo in tip number 2 is assume everything, but also don't forget to ask, because most agents forget to ask. If you built the relationship, if you gave them enough information, and if you built value, you have warranted a chance to ask for the business. Don't forget to ask. Most people don't get business because they don't do what? They don't ask. Be confident and expect to do business with every person you talk to, but don't forget to ask, to go for the close, to expect business. All right, tip number 3. This was going to be tough. This one's probably the best one, most valuable one, is record your conversations and listen to yourself later. I know it's embarrassing. I know it's tough. No one likes to listen to themselves. But doing that helped me up my phone game way more. Like, for instance, we shoot a lot of video content. I listen and watch videos and shows to find, hey, dude, what kind of bad habits do you have? What can you improve at? The same thing can be said for when you're selling a prospect, when you're trying to set an appointment, when you're trying to telesell. Record your calls and listen to them later. I promise you, this will be the best thing you ever do. You'll learn so much about yourself. It'll reveal all your bad habits. You'll learn by listening, hey, I shouldn't have said that. That was dumb. That was stupid. Oh, that was great. I need to keep doing more of that. And so you'll learn from those recordings what you continue to do and what you need to do to be better at being incredible on the phone. So these are my 3 tips for getting better at using the telephone, whether it's appointment setting, or going out in the field, or over the phone. Agents struggle with the phone. I think that's one of the biggest reasons agents fail and they don't get in front of enough prospects, because you struggle with the phone. So don't be afraid to pick it up. Don't be afraid to record yourself, and don't be afraid to learn and get great at using the telephone. Hey, you guys know me. I'm big on finding common ground with the prospect. I feel like the warm-up portion of a call, of an appointment, is arguably the most important part of the sell period. That's one thing that I tend to forget when I still run appointments or talk to someone on the phone, is that they only buy. Yeah, the value has to outweigh price. That's common sense. Yeah, they have to see value in what they're purchasing. But the fact that they like you, trust you, and that you have a relationship helps a ton. For instance, I just took a call and was able to close a couple tickets. It was like 9:30 at night. I talked to the guy, a lead came in for our event, and I ended up spending about 20 minutes on the phone with this person. A lot of people forget that they need information. They need to like you. They need to trust you, and that building a relationship is super, super important. So I'm going to give you a few ideas in this video to find common ground with prospects. Everyone has something in common with someone else. Did you grow up in the same area? Do you like the same sports team? Did you grow up both going to church? Or did you, or are you in the same area where there's incredible weather today? Whatever it is, you've got to find ways to find things in common with the person. Even if you can't find things in common, at least get them talking, get that relationship and that rapport process started. I mean, are you both family oriented? Do you both love your family? Do they like to talk about their family? Do they have pictures on the walls to where they want to talk about Susie or little Bubba? Whatever it is. Everyone has their people in their family that they care about, that they love about, that they will gladly like to talk about. We all have those in our life, and if you think about it, we're all naturally a little bit self-absorbed. If you give me a chance to talk about me, dude, I'm going to do it for too long. If you give the prospect a chance to talk about them, they're going to do it for too long. But I notice that when I make sales, when they talk more than I do, the gift of gab is a myth, and when we have a relationship, when we find common ground, and when they like us. So use these ideas and questions to build some common ground. You think about, well, dude, what's some specific questions? Hey, when I move from warm-up to fact find, I always say, what got you thinking about this? That's a great way to get them talking. Or, hey, you have a lovely home. Thank you for allowing me in here. How long have y'all lived here? Are you originally from here? Just questions in general to get them talking, to find common ground, to build rapport, to build a relationship. Don't forget, when you're making a sale today, don't forget that the relationship is arguably the most important part of every sale. right, we get a lot of questions about follow-up, about what to do, when to do it, why to do it. This is when, how, why, and why we do it. This is my 3-day lead follow-up system. Those first 72 hours are really, really important when you're reaching out to leads. They have the best chance of remembering. You need to get on the phone with them. You need to get a hold of them. The longer you wait, the worse your chances get of them picking up. So I'm going to go over the follow-up system and a few stats to also support this. So the first day, 3 calls, a text, and an email. The 3 calls, morning, afternoon, evening. Leave 1 voicemail every single day. The text, email, and voicemail, use the 3 things that we have on the site: good news, quick question, and drop off. And you can do maybe 1 of each day and change it up, is what I ultimately recommend. So in this first day, that's 5 touches: 3 calls, a text, and an email. Day 2, 2 calls, a text, and an email. You'll see a pattern here. Then you're at 4 contacts. You're at a total of 9 between the first 2 days. Day 3, 1 call, 1 text, and an email, and every day you're leaving 1 voicemail. In those call, text, and email, that's a total of 3 contacts. Total, you're at 12 touches in the first 72 hours. You say, well, dude, why would you do that? Because 80% of sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact. So I want to put them all in the first 72 hours. And yes, an email and a touch is a contact, or an email text is a contact and a touch. 80% of sales are made between the 5th and 12th contact. So we're going to show you how to cram it all into the first 72 hours. Because no matter what type of leads you work, especially if you're working hours, these are exclusive. They're real time. They're quick. You're going to be able to get in touch with them. You're going to be able to talk to them. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to get in front of them and see them. Also, there's another stat that above, up on this page in the website, it shows the Harvard Business Review and how they tracked 100,000 calls. And what happened is, if someone made 6 calls, they had a 90% chance of actually reaching the individual. Guess what? 3, 2, 1. There you go. You're at 6. So there's math, there's science, there's psychology, and there's reason for every single thing that we're doing, and why this is the system and the follow-up lead system and process that you need to use when you want to make sales with the leads that we're giving you. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, we are here with Mr. Reggie Reese from Veterans Safeguarding Americans, buddy. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it.
And also, Mr. Reggie is from Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. He is a local guy. How long have you been in the business?
5 years.
Been in the business, insurance business, 5 years. He's growing an agency and a team, really successful agent. He's been giving me sales tips while he's been here. It's been a bunch of fun. Hey, tell me a little bit about your career, your success, your team, how you've been able to gel your background and your current business.
I was in the military 11 years, MP, military police officer. I specifically did criminal intel on a task force with local law enforcement tracking down high-profile criminals. When I came out, I just took that skill set and became a bounty hunter. And that just, to be honest, kind of just dragged me down a little bit because it was so negative dealing with just criminals all the time. In the midst of all that, I was in some very dangerous situations, and I knew I needed some insurance because the probability of me getting hurt at some point was very high. So I sought out a friend of mine who I went to high school with. I knew she was an insurance agent here in Springfield, Missouri, Amelia, and I met up with her. And she asked me what I did. I told her, and she said, well, why don't you be an insurance agent? I laughed. I said, I'm not an insurance agent. I'm a terrorist hunter and and she was like, well, let me show you something. And no kidding, she pulls up her bank account and showed me 6 figures.
Wow.
And I told her, I said, this from like what Jake from State Farm does, and she was, and she was like, no, it's what I do, and I'm better than Jake. I said, well, sign me up. You know, she was like, well, don't you want to know the history of the company? I was like, no, I see results.
Yeah.
I don't care what the name of the company is. I see results. Teach me the concept. Well, I got in originally for the money, because when you go from being a captain in the Army and you lose a $5,000 a month income, and you know you got kids to support, and you know an ex-wife to keep happy, and you know and a responsibility there, and you know I was in a situation where I was desperate. When I got involved and started connecting with my clients, I then realized that, especially with elderly folks, people were being price gouged and taken advantage of. And that really burned me inside. So I thought about it very long, and I got with some mentors of mine that were in the company, and I told them, I'm no longer in this business to make money. I'm in the business to help people.
I'm getting goosebumps sitting here listening to you, man.
I said, this is my mission. This is my calling. I don't care if I have to do this broke for the rest of my life. I will not let anybody take advantage of grandma and grandpa anymore. You know, and so I decided that I needed to speak to the CEO of the company. That was my IMO. And the first time I met him, and I won't use all the words that I said to him, but I walked directly up to him during a conference, brand new guy, never met him before. And this guy's making like $30-40 million a year. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, I said, I want to know exactly how you did it. I want to know what your numbers are. He whispered into my ears. I told him, I said, thank you. Now I'm going to crush you. And he was like, wow, it's about time somebody has some guts to tell me that to my face. I said, well, I just want to add value to what you're already doing, but I'm not going to stay here long. I'm going to branch off, and I'm going to start my own because I need to build my own dream. So that day, I started my own insurance brokerage called Veterans Safeguard Americans. And it started with me and my squad leader, Dean Johnson, he was my squad leader back in 2004 in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And we've been running it ever since. He's now in Colorado building business there. My XO, Arthur Alvarez, he's here with us today. And if it wasn't for those two guys, I'd be all over the place, but they keep me very grounded. But it's now our mission to seek out other individuals that believe in the same cause, who live a life of the same values that we believe in, to reach out and help people. Heck, even with my own parents, I looked at their policies and they were, you know, reluctant to show me their policies. I'm like, I'm your son. The state gave me a license to do this, you know, let me check it out. And I finally did, and they were being price gouged. And that became kind of personal with me. And so I contacted their agent. I said, you're done. I'm their agent now. I don't know what to tell you. You know, and I replaced their policies, and not only did I get them a better price, I got them a lot more living benefits that they can now utilize with their grandkids. You know, and so I'm not going to allow that to happen to my family. I won't allow it to happen to anybody else's family. So I treat my clients like grandma and grandpa, or my aunt and uncle, or my brother and sister. And those are the people that we've added to our team. And that's our mission, you know, and you know, coming across Cody and Dominic and what Secure is doing, it's amazing. And you all have the same type of mindset, the same cause, the same values that we have, you know, and so I'm very thankful that I got to be a part of, you know, this experience with you, and I look forward to, you know, building a bigger future with you also, and saving a lot more people.
Thank you, buddy. Dude, I appreciate the kind words very much, man. How about that story? That is incredible. Tell us real quick, for those new agents watching, so like, dude, I want to be like Reggie. They're out there watching like, dude, I want to be Reggie Reese. I want to be, you know, I want to grow. I want to make money, or I want to be like Miss Amelia with $100,000 in my bank. What's one tip that you can say to those new agents watching that you can have a chance to touch?
Trying to be like me, you're going to waste your life, because you're better than me. God created you as an individual. And for those who are watching, this is what I want you to do right now. I want you to take your hand, look at your hand. You got fingerprints, we got a handprint. Tell yourself that this handprint and fingerprint have never been on anybody else since the beginning of time. Nobody else walking the face of the planet right now has these fingerprints or handprints right now, currently. And nobody for the remaining of time will ever have these fingerprints or handprints. So that makes you 100% unique, not only to this world, not only to your existence, but in this entire universe. You are the only one that can make a difference in your own life, okay? So Chad, Matt, Paul, Becky, Ryan, whoever is out there, it's only one you. So if there's never been another you, there's currently not another you, and there never will be another you, then why not live your own life being remembered as completely freaking awesome? That's what I would say.
I love that. Dude, it's your choice. Thank you, Mr. Reggie.
Hey, thank you.
Dude, we love working with these guys. Awesome guys. As you can tell, again, veterans safeguarding Americans. We love our service personnel, military, and we're happy to be able to have Mr. Reggie in our office delivering some free content to you. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you to Reggie.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Have you ever had an appointment where you end up giving them 2 or 3 options, and then they're not ready to make a decision? Okay, you know what? And then you end up giving them like 8 options later. You end up giving them more options. You never want to give a prospect more than 3 options. Why not? Because it's sensory overload. People will say they need to think about it simply by the amount of information that you put in front of them. Maybe that's why I never use a brochure or a PDF or information about the carrier, or I don't give them a folder. You know, I don't want sensory overload. I want to give them just enough information so that they will make a decision today, right now. I've learned that when I give people a bajillion options, they are less likely to make a decision. Now, if you give them 3 options and then they choose one, that's good. And then if you want to try to upsell them, then they're deciding between 2 options, not 4. You see where I'm going with that? Because they chose one and then you're giving them another one. Because I had an agent the other day that said, you know what? I gave 3 options that were too small. I think he gave an 8, a 10, and a 12. And he said the person chose the 12, and he said the person would have probably chose 15 if I'd have gave it to him. I said, well, they've already made a decision, so it's okay to try to upsell them now. Say, hey, the 12,000 is great. I want you to know everything. We also have a $15,000 option that I think may even be a better fit for you. Would you agree? Here it is. It's not sensory overload when they've got one option and they're choosing from another one. But I've been guilty of giving them 6 options on a piece of paper, 8 options, 10 options. It's sensory overload. They feel like they don't really need to think about it. If they say they didn't think about it, dude, they're lying. But they think they need to think about it subconsciously because of the amount of information that you've put in front of them. So give them 3 options. You are the professional. You decide what they choose, what they buy, when they buy. Don't overload them with just tons of information. Give them a couple of good options, 2 or 3 good options, and then expect that they are going to make a decision. Sensory overload will get objections like, hey, I want to think about it, I'm not sure, let me talk to my spouse, you know, I need to think about it, I need to call you back, I need to pray on it, whatever. Dude, they're ready to make a decision right now. They just don't know it yet. They need a little help from you, but don't create objections by giving them way too much information. If you like this video, if you learned from this video, just like you expect clients to buy, I expect a thumbs up on this video right now from you. Thanks for watching. From all of us at Security Mentor, we help agents with leads, training, coaching, insurance leads. If you need help getting in front of prospects, you may want to call some of our consultants in our office, 833-40-AGENT, because that is all we do, and that's what we focus on. Our focus is on getting you in front of people, helping you be successful, and helping you make some money as an insurance agent. It's raining. It's raining outside. It's a great day to read a book. Am I right? You guys are going to be cozying. You guys are going to be hanging out the top 3 books for new insurance agents. Book number 1 is definitely The Art of Closing the Sale by Brian Tracy. Why The Art of Closing the Sale by Brian Tracy? Simply because That was the book that I listened to on audiobook every day, all day. As a new 19-year-old insurance agent, I listened to that book religiously, and I got really good at getting people to make a decision on the first call. Because you guys know I don't believe in callbacks. The second book that you have to check out, another book that I read and I love, is How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. It pertains directly to insurance. How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bedker. Really good book on enthusiasm, sales, going above and beyond, customer service, just being unique and being different and being incredible. That's a great book. You got to check that one out. And then the third book that you got to check out is The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. That will get your mindset right. The first book, you learn how to close. Second book, you'll learn how to service and be enthusiastic. And the third book will get you thinking bigger, get your goals right, put you on purpose, and get you ready to blow up this freaking industry. Those are my 3 books for you. Check them out. We need to throw like some Amazon links below in this so that you can check these out. You can go buy these books. I don't get anything off you buying the books, and I don't care if you do, but I recommend you do if you want to be great, if you want to improve, if you want to be the best you that you can be.